It's Omar from Hardware, and college football's back. As we saw, Week 0 had a great slate of games, a lot of exciting contests, a couple upsets, I should say, and a lot of close finishes. But I'm here to kind of talk about kind of a story that went under the radar throughout the off season, and definitely to me, surprisingly, considering the background of this story. And it centers around a 1-yard touchdown that happened late in the Hawaii Vanderbilt game that I'm sure not a lot of people found very exciting. But this opens a door for a lot of potential for exciting ideas in Hawaii's offense. So before we go any further, we're talking about Dalen Morris, the Navy transfer, who hadn't played a game in 3 college football seasons since the 2020 college football season when Navy went 3-7. He was their starter in that kind of start of Navy's decline. He ran for a 1-yard touchdown and bring the Rainbow Warriors within 1 score. So we'll look at the package, we'll look at how he played at Navy and how his experience at Navy could impact the Hawaii offense. So before we start, let's dive in. I mean, Hawaii loves running Wildcat offenses. You look at Calvin Turner from 2020 to 2021. Calvin Turner was one of their best running back / wide receivers on the team. He totaled 649 yards in 2 years at Hawaii, 300 yards each year, and 12 rushing touchdowns. So Hawaii had a great place for Calvin Turner in their offense. And Dalen Morris, I'm not saying he's athletic as Calvin Turner, but Morris can find a place in that Hawaii offense, a sort of Calvin Turner type place in the Wildcat, and as a short yardage guy. So I'm excited to see where this brings. And honestly, it may seem surprising, but when you think about the flexbone offense, Timmy Chang is probably the last guy that you think of, right? The record-setting quarterback for the Rainbow Warriors run and shoot offense. But looking at what they pulled out on Saturday against Vanderbilt, you can honestly see Chang kind of use some of Navy's principles in the flexbone in this Wildcat package. So I'm excited to dive into this. When you look at Dalen Morris' stats, they aren't really impressive. You look at that 2020 season in terms of quarterback play for Navy, it's really horrible in terms of a triple option offense. For starters, Morris had 68 carries for 46 net yards. Of course, in college, they count sacks. You take away the sacks, that total only balloons to 59 carries for 79 yards. Quick maths there. But not really great, but in the highlights that, are playing in the background, you see a tough runner, a guy who falls forward for yardage, not too flashy, who makes decisive cuts, but is still patient enough to follow his blockers. And for Hawaii, in the goal line package that they're trying to institute with Morris, that might be just what they're looking for. And I'll let the highlights continue to play until my next point. So, first and goal from the 1-yard line, Hawaii down 35-21 with under 5 minutes to go. And you look at this formation, it looks like a typical double wing formation with the running back. But as I pull up the personnel labels in this next slide / picture, whatever, you see how unique this formation is. I mean, at tight end on the strong side, you have Arasi Mose, 370 pounds of beef at the tight end position. At the wing, next to Mose, you have Jen Sotelo, who is 305 pounds at wing. And then at tailback / fullback, you have Solo Vaipulu, a backup offensive lineman at 280 pounds. And on the backside, you have Tylen Hines at 5'7", 175, which we'll get to his role later. He doesn't have much of a role, obviously, in this play, but he can have a potential role further down the road if Hawaii decides to get more creative with formation. So you see Hawaii runs this play. It's just a quarterback dive out of the shotgun, nothing too fancy. Follows the fullback. The only fancy thing really is a pulling guard, and it works. Dalen Morris scores. So let's go back to September 19th, 2020. We have a critical 4th and 1. Navy's down 8, trying to fight back from a 24-0 deficit, and they need this conversion to make the comeback happen. And the play you see here, you have the slot back motion across the quarterback, across Dalen Morris, creating a bunch type of formation. And the play is just simple. He just follows his blockers as the X's and O's show this little drawn up diagram that I have. And he just follows his blockers for a first down. So let's roll the tape. So going back to Hawaii's formation, Hawaii can replicate this easily. They can have Tylen Hines motion across and be next to Sotelo, the other slot back / wing, and they can easily do a quarterback lead play and set the edge, especially with Vaipulu at the fullback / tailback position to lead block for Morris and kind of set the edge on a 4th and short, 3rd and short, or like 1st and goal situation if they wanted to. Easy replication there. So back to Talon Hines for our second kind of part of this video, where Talon Hines is built like a Navy slot back. He's 5'7", 175, and he's probably Hawaii's best offensive weapon. Had over 8 yards a carry, gained 500 rushing yards last year for the Rainbow Warriors. And if he played at Navy, he would probably be a starting slot back there for the midshipmen. So that being said, Chang can kind of maneuver this scheme and kind of use Hines as a slot back and use that same orbit type of motion that Navy uses. Motion Hines behind Morris and then run kind of a load option. Of course, you'll have Pulu as the lead blocker, and you'll have a down block from the wing in Sotelo, and leaving the pitch man unblocked as you would an option, and go from there. Turn a short yardage play into a big potential for a big play, a cheap big play. So I'm gonna roll the tape on some pass load option footage and just see.
Phase on the defensive end. Backup safety Devontae Robinson as Dalen Morris will get the read.
So I didn't even mention how great of a passer Dalen Morris is. He's honestly a way better passer than Calvin Turner was. So that just adds another layer to this. Needless to say, Hawaii looks like they're going to be a fun team this year. They should be in bowl contention in the Mountain West after almost beating Vanderbilt. And this just adds another wrinkle. This Wildcat package with Dalen Morris, a Navy transfer who last played football 3 years ago, then graduated, and happens to be stationed in Hawaii. You can't write a better story than this, and I can't do this story enough justice. But until next time, everyone, let me know if I should do more of these X's and O breakdowns, and let's talk about it. Peace, love, and soul.